We can go ahead and get started. And why don't we get started laying down onto our backs? And so as you lay down onto your back, you could be in any variation of this, right? So maybe the legs extend long, maybe your knees are bent, maybe the arms are resting by your side, or maybe the arms are reaching overhead with the elbows bent, right? Just notice where the body automatically goes and then make a decision of where you want to go in this moment, whether that's staying where you are or whether that's changing anything, just getting into a position that feels real cozy. Maybe the eyelids close. Allow yourself to simply breathe in and breathe out. And just be with that process for a few rounds. There's no right or wrong way to breathe, right? I just want you to be aware of the breath and how it's kind of working its way through your body, how it's affecting your energy, if it feels fluid, if it feels stuck. Just work with it. And often that's what separates the yoga asana practice from other forms of movement or exercise, is this emphasis on the breath, almost allowing the breath to be our vehicle through which we can explore some different movements. When you're ready here, let's take a full breath in, filling up the belly. And then take a smooth breath all the way out. Let all the air go. We'll do that 3 more times. So take a full breath in, sipping in air until the whole belly is full. And then take a smooth exhale until all that has left the body. Full inhale, breathe in. Full exhale, breathe out. Last one, full inhale, breathe in. Full exhale, breathe out. Take a full body stretch. Extend the legs long, reach the arms overhead. And then create a stretch by hugging your right knee into your body. You can grab a hold of your right knee or shin and just rock the right leg back and forth a couple times. Say hello to the hip flexors. Maybe roll the ankle around a couple times. And then extend your right leg so that the right heel is pressing up to the sky, and then roll the ankle around a few times. Big loops of the ankle here. Just find nice big rotations, let it feel natural. And then keep the right leg extended here. Place the left foot onto the ground so the left knee points up, and then cross your right ankle over the left knee into a reclined pigeon or reclined figure 4 position. And then from here, from this figure 4 position, if you already threaded the needle, go ahead and release that and just rest your palms out by your sides. And then from this figure 4, what we're going to do is actively start to press the right knee away from the body without using our hands. So we're just using the strength of the legs, specifically the strength of the external rotators in the hip joint, to help really find this nice hip stretch for the right leg. All right, so right knee is pressing away from the body. You can flex the toes toward your shins. That might help you strengthen up a little bit. Really just feel into this outer hip stretch. And then let's release both feet down to the ground into bridge pose. So when both feet land, go ahead and press into the feet. Hips press up to the sky. We're in bridge pose. Don't really worry about making it too deep of a back bend. Think more strength and stability here. So just pressing the feet into the mat, pressing the hip points higher, but mostly just using this to feel the strength in the back body, in the glutes, and the hamstrings. And we're breathing, right? Notice if you start to hold your breath. And then the journey here is going to be on the descent down. So we're going to roll the spine down as slowly as we can, starting with the upper back rolls down, followed by the mid back. You might have to tuck the tailbone a little bit, and then the lower back, and then eventually the pelvis is the last thing to land. Once it does, take another full body stretch. Arms extend, legs extend. And then the left knee comes into the body. Grab a hold of your knee or shin. Pull the knee in a little tighter and maybe go through some gentle rocks side to side. Ankle can move around, or any other little rotations to begin to stretch out into your left hip. The breath keeps flowing at whatever pace is feeling nice to you. And then let the left foot extend to the sky. Hands can clasp behind your left leg, right? Your leg might be 100% straight, it might be 70% straight, right? Whatever it is, you're working into the hamstrings. You can roll the ankle around again if you want. Take like another breath or two here. And then right foot comes to the mat. Once right foot places down, left ankle crosses over the right knee. And then remember, hands are just going to rest out by our hips. And then we're using the activity of our left leg to try to press the left knee away from the body. We're not using our hands. And then maybe flex the left toes back toward the shin. Get active with it. We're really working into some nice mobility into the hip here. Mobility just meaning kind of like an intersection between strength and flexibility, right? Like using the active engagement of our muscles to create a stretch, right? Which is very nice and healthy for our joints. When you're ready, both feet come back down onto the mat. We'll do one more bridge pose from here. So both feet press down, hips lift to the sky. All right, maybe you feel like there's a little more awareness or strength compared to the first round, maybe not. Either way, we're just strengthening. All right, we're breathing. And then we're not going to come down quite yet, but again, the magic here is in the descent. Imagine you could really feel each one of your vertebrae as we bring them back down onto the mat. So when you feel ready, spine rolls down, starting with upper back. Eventually we get to the thoracic spine, the mid back, low back, pelvis is the last thing to land. From here, we'll bring our knees in, rock forward and back a couple times. We'll rock up to a seated position. And eventually we'll meet in tabletop. All right, so as you come into tabletop onto all fours, this is your opportunity just to move through space, however you'd like to move through space. This could look like traditional cat-cow. This could look like shifting side to side, doing some lateral bends. I like to just close my eyes and get as funky with it as my body deems appropriate, just really moving all around. Feeling expansive, a little animalistic. If you want to stretch out the wrists, flip the palms in different directions. Just allow this to feel nice, right? Just notice what territory you're able to move through. Notice simply how the body feels. We live in these physical bodies, right? But often we're not present with what the body's actually experiencing, right? There's so much going on in our minds and the world around us. We're very overstimulated a lot of the time. So use this moment to really just be present with the body. Notice what you're feeling, the good, the bad, and be okay with it. Have compassion for all of it. When you're ready, let's find down dog. Press your hips back, pedal out the legs a little bit, work into your calves, your hamstrings. At the same time, we're strong in the hands. We're spreading out the fingers, gripping into the mat. Find any little movements from this down dog that welcomes you into the position. Again, breath keeps flowing. And then from here, let's look forward and tiptoe our feet up to the hands. We're in a forward fold, top of your mat. Relax down, ragdoll the arms if you want, bend the knees if you want. Relax the forehead closer toward the shins. And maybe you rock forward a little bit so that most of the weight is in your kind of toe mounds and less weight is in your heels. Imagine you could maybe even slide like a super thin index card underneath your heels, because when we shift forward more so onto our toes, we activate through the back line of our legs, kind of like what we were doing earlier in the figure 4, using the active engagement of our muscles to create the stretch rather than just passively lengthening the muscles, right? Because one thing that's a lot better than flexibility is being able to be in control of our flexibility. Otherwise, just breathing, right? Not to make up this forward fold super serious or anything. If you want to just relax, you can totally just relax, right? And then roll up to standing. Once you roll up to standing, reach the hands up to the sky. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, pull the hands down to prayer in front of your heart. We'll go through some sun salutations from here. So we'll inhale, hands up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, fold. Place your palms down, and then step your feet back. Find plank pose, and then drop your knees to the ground. So we're in kind of like a lengthened tabletop, all right? Plank pose with the knees down. From here, try to keep the hips elevated off the mat like an inchworm as we lower chest and chin down, bending at the elbows. So knees, chest, and chin position, hips stay elevated. You'll have to extend through the spine and then pull through to cobra, or if you're ready for an upward facing dog, you can go ahead and find an upward facing dog. Downward facing dog when you're ready. Send it on back. We're in no rush here, right? We're going to go through the motions a couple more times. Really just try to be aware of the movements, try to control the movements, and remind yourself there's really no rush from getting space to space. Sometimes the magic can be in the transition between point A and point B. With that being said, when you're ready, look forward, rise to the toes, bend the knees, and then walk, or if you want, take a little hop to the top of the mat, forward fold. As you inhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands lift up to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, find nice length here. Exhale, place the palms down, plank pose. This time, your choice. If you want to take another knees, chest, chin. If you want to take a chaturanga, you could take a chaturanga with your knees down. And then we'll find up dog or cobra, whatever back bend you're comfortable with. Find some nice extension, maybe look forward. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Let the breath continue flowing. We'll look forward, rise to the toes, bend the knees, walk, step, take a little hop. However you get there, we'll meet in a forward fold, top of the mat. On your next breath in, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to prayer in front of the heart. Inhale, hands lift up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, place the palms down, plank pose. Take your time moving through your vinyasa here. Move at your own pace, choose positions that resonate with your body in this moment. And they can look like whatever you want. The aesthetics don't matter, but hopefully it's something that brings you connection, something that allows you to feel strong and in control. All right, we'll go through one more full round of these full sun salutation A's. So let's look forward, rise to the toes, bend the knees, and then bring your feet up to your hands, forward fold, top of the mat. As you get here, use your next breath in, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands to the sky. You can lean back, you can look up if you want. Exhale, hands come back to heart center. Inhale, hands reach up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to your mat, plank pose. Move through your vinyasa. If you want, it could be a plank to low plank, chaturanga, or you could implement any other positions that feel nice to you. Either way, we'll meet in downward facing dog, and then from downward facing dog, we will find child's pose, balasana. Allow your body to rest down. Take a moment to feel just a nice, subtle connection to the earth beneath you, below the yoga mat, below whatever floor or surface you're on. Some gratitude for the earth, the grass, the center of the earth. Gratitude for this opportunity to have this life, to be awake in the body, breathing, moving today. We'll have about 2 or 3 more breaths in this child's pose or in any other positions that would bring you connection. If you'd rather just sit up, you could sit up. If you'd rather grab a sip of water, you could grab a sip of water. And let's all use the next couple breaths to journey back to down dog, right? So on the way, you could always take some cat-cows, take some little stretches, but let's say like next 5 breaths or so, next 20, 30 seconds, journey back towards your down dog. Notice what kind of energy is moving through the body after some of our introductory movements, right? Notice how even just a couple minutes can make a change, right? Maybe that change is very subtle. Maybe the change is quite significant in how you feel versus when we started. Just be aware. There's never any judgments. It's always just noticing. It's always just awareness, compassion, kindness. When you're ready, look forward and then bring your feet to your hands. Forward fold, top of the mat. Chair pose. Let's go ahead and sink the hips nice and low. Arms can lift up to the sky if you'd like. Rock forward and back. Try to rock forwards. Maybe the heels lift a little bit. Then rock back. Maybe the toes lift a little bit. Getting comfortable with shifting balance, right? If you don't want to have your arms lifted, you could either just dangle your arms down or you could bring them to heart center, but we're just rocking forward and back within our chair pose, right? Just feeling balance. But the nice thing about this movement is we get to feel balance with both feet on the mat, but we still get to play with balance because we'll do some one-legged balances throughout the class. I like to almost start to wave my arms forward and back as I do this, almost just create like a wave-like motion, rocking forward, rocking back. We'll have like another 20 seconds here, but if you need to take a break and then come back in, you can. Oops, if you fall out of balance, that's totally cool. I just did that, and it's no big deal. You just get back into the movement. Just be in the flow. It's very easy to feel like we need to judge ourselves, you know, even based on like a movement practice. Like, did I do that pose right? But in reality, it doesn't matter, right? It really doesn't matter. We're just here to find connection. And if we try to find connection, we'll find the growth over time. All right, let's go ahead and just stand all the way up. Shake anything out that wants to be shaken out. If you want to kind of do some twists side to side, you can. Good. And then from here, reach the hands all the way up to the sky. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, forward fold. Place the hands or fingertips down. Option to use blocks here. Left foot steps all the way back. Left knee drops to the mat. We're in a low lunge. All right. So as you come into low lunge, just pulse into your lunge. I like to bring my hands up towards my right knee or towards the hips because it gives me some nice room to elevate through my spine, but you can also keep your hands down if you'd rather do that. Just pulse forward and back. Bring some movement into the hips. All right. And then my invitation here is to press the top of the left foot down into the mat and start to get a little more active with the left leg. So really feeling the top of the left foot press down, feeling the left shin press down into the mat. Maybe even the left glute starts to activate a tiny bit. Just really working into the strength and stability of the back leg. We'll just have a couple more breaths as you work into this lunging position. Nice job, y'all. And then let's find our half splits. So your hands can come down.
Option for blocks here, maybe you lengthen out your stance a little bit. I like to lengthen it out a tiny bit. And then we're in our half splits. So we have a couple breaths here. Maybe it feels good to crawl the hands over to the left off the mat. Crawl the hands over to the right, get into your outer hamstrings, IT band area. And just kind of rock around, right? You could also move your ankle around, but get curious with the sensations, right? See how, based on where you fold over or where you look, how you can kind of change the sensation of the stretch, right? Reminding ourselves that most of these postures can look 100 different ways based on little different movements or sensations that we're looking for, right? My favorite thing to do in almost every pose is just to wiggle around, right? Crawl this way, crawl that way, sway this way, shift that way, and just see what sensations that brings. But we've been here for a little bit, so let's rock forward and find a runner's lunge this time. So hands can come to blocks or reach down to the mat. Tuck the left toes under. Left knee lifts off the mat. So we're in a little bit stronger of a lunge here. And then we'll rise up into a crescent lunge. All right, reach the hands up to the sky if you want to. We're not here for too long. Let's just take one deep breath in. One deep breath out. Good. Reach the hands back down to the mat or the block and take a little step to the top of your mat, forward fold. Roll yourself up to standing. Use an inhale to reach the hands to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart center in front of the heart. Good. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Place the hands down, step the right foot back. Drop the right knee down to the mat, and then just like the other side, we have time to kind of just pulse and rock into our lunge with the left foot forward. All right, so as you lunge, again, your choice however you want to modify this or create your experience, but maybe if you want to get a little more gently active with it, you can flip the top of the right foot down and then find a little activity of driving the top of the right foot and the right shin down into the mat as you work into a deep lunge. All right. Noticing how little intentions can have a big impact on the experience, right? Just maybe one or two more breaths here. When you're ready, hands down to the blocks or to your mat. Shift the hips back. Half splits is where we're headed, Ardha Hanuman. As you straighten out the left leg in some capacity, maybe you lengthen your stance a little bit to find a nice fold. And then, again, you could just hang out here, or there's options. Crawl the hands over towards the right, off the right side of your mat. Crawl the hands off the left side of the mat. Change where you're folded, lean forward. Fold a little deeper, roll the ankle around, right? Find any sort of movement that feels natural. Don't be afraid to try something new just for the sake of trying something new. It's often very enjoyable to stay within what we know, right? Within what's familiar, right? But there's nothing wrong with that. I love doing things that feel familiar. I love doing a posture the same way I've done it 100 times, right? Because it's familiar, it's comfy, right? But what if we also, at the same time, use this practice to explore new things? All right, just to gain information, learn about the body. Rock it forward when you're ready, and we'll find runner's lunge. So hands down to the blocks or mat. We'll tuck the right toes under, right knee lifts off the mat. Find a little strength into your lunge. And then rise to standing when you're ready. Hands can lift up. We'll be here for a breath or two. Just breathing into it, feeling the subtle power. And then bring the hands down to the blocks or to your mat and step forward, forward fold. All right, blocks can go right to the sides, hands to the mat. Plank pose, step yourself back. From plank pose, let's find low plank, chaturanga. Come down, we'll just move through a vinyasa here. Find an upward facing dog when you're ready. Find a downward facing dog when you're ready. All right, from here we'll keep kind of building as we progress through the practice, adding on shapes here and there. So from this downward facing dog, let's look forward and bring our feet up to our hands so you could walk or take a little hop. From here, drop into chair pose, and let's get one more of those kind of wobbling, wiggling chair poses. All right, so rock forward and back. Maybe the arms sway forward and back with you. If you're feeling brave, you could even close your eyes. All right, maybe the hips get a little lower as you do it. Just feel some energy into the legs. All right. Heels lift, toes lift. Try to keep breathing as you're moving. Just here for maybe another 10 more seconds. When you're ready, rise up to standing. Use an inhale to reach the hands all the way up above you. Exhale, bring the hands down to your heart. And then we'll move a little bit with our breath here. So when you're ready, let's start in a kind of cactus position. So cactus out the arms. All right. And then from here, use your inhale just to open the heart, pull the elbows further back. Maybe look up, find a back bend as you breathe in. And then exhale, round the spine, forearms come together out in front of you. Inhale, pull the elbows back, open up, cactus open. And then exhale, round the spine, forearms close together. Inhale, cactus open, elbows pull back like you're pulling a cape open, right? And then exhale, you're closing off the cape. Helps me think of it. So inhale, you pull the cape open the heart, elbows pull back. Exhale, round the spine, forearms come together. We'll do 2 more. So inhale, open the cape, elbows pull back, find a back bend. Exhale, forearms come together, round the spine as you close off. And last one, inhale, pull the arms open, cactus. Exhale, close off your cape, round it forward. All right, release that a little bit, and then we'll do 1 more stretch for the back. This is one of my favorite things to do for the mid-back, actually. So reach your arms out to a T position, and then wrap one arm over top of the other. Give yourself a big hug, and then crawl your fingertips kind of further onto your shoulder blades, onto your scapula. And then from here, we'll go through some thoracic rotations. So just allow your spine to roll around. And there's a lot of different motions you could emphasize here, right? So maybe you emphasize more of the lateral bends, getting into your side bodies. Maybe you emphasize more of the opening back and then the rounding forward, flexion and extension. Or maybe you get more into the twists, revolving left and right. It's really up to you, right? We all have different sensations we're experiencing in the back and the spine. So do what feels good and safe, but also expansive. And for future notice, if you ever want to do this at home and you want to isolate even more, just put a block or anything that you can hug in between the thighs. And if you do that, that'll just isolate the movements even more because your legs will be still because they're hugging the block in. But we'll just have like another 10 seconds to round this out. Another maybe 2-3 breaths. This is another good one to just be explorative, right? It doesn't necessarily have any structure, but it's a really nice one to safely open up some space in your back. All right, so we'll go ahead and release that. And then we'll get into a little bit of flow. All right. So from here, stand at the top of the mat. I'm actually going to have a little sip of water because, I think I deserve it. A lot of talking and teaching yoga, Gotta keep myself hydrated. All right, thanks for bearing with me. That's your reminder to take a water break whenever you need to. All right, stand on your right foot. Lift the left knee into the chest for stork pose. All right, from stork pose, this transition is, can be a little tricky, but, we'll just try it and then it'll get much easier as we go throughout the class. So we'll step the left foot behind us. At the same time, we'll reach the left hand down to the mat and we're in revolved side angle. All right, so the left foot steps back as the left hand comes down. The right hand twists up to the sky. So we're basically stepping back, revolved side angle with the right hand to the sky. All right, we're high onto the left toes, creating a twist. From here, the transition starts by bringing our right elbow to our right knee. All right, so right elbow curls in and places on the right knee. Then the left heel drops down to the mat to open up through the hips. And then the left hand reaches up to the sky, side angle pose. All right, does that kind of make sense? So now we're in side angle. Once you get to side angle, go through some huge rotations in your shoulder. So just big arm loops with your left arm. All right, so just imagine you're drawing like the biggest circle you possibly could with your fingertips and allow yourself to just create space that way. We'll just have another couple breaths here. Strength and stability in the legs and expansiveness throughout your upper body. And then let's release this and reverse our warrior. Straighten out your legs as you reach the right hand up and back. Find some nice lift. Allow yourself to keep breathing here. Warrior 2. So as you release this, bend into your right knee, open out the arms, and we're in Warrior 2 position. Take a moment, rock forward and back a little bit. See if you can keep the legs relatively still, or maybe they move a little bit with you, and you can kind of rock forward and back, right? Maybe you even kind of twist left to right a little bit. See how you can create a more fluid experience in your Warrior 2 position. Maybe it's just because it's Friday. Maybe that's why I keep encouraging us to just be loose and kind of get rid of structure today. Friday class, you know. Why not? All right. So from here, we're in Warrior 2 position. And then from Warrior 2, let's reverse one more time. Maybe this time you stay low as you reverse your warrior. Take a breath in. As you exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the mat and then step back to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, let's shift or roll forward into plank pose and then move through a vinyasa. All right. So maybe there's a chaturanga or a knees, chest, chin. Maybe there's a back bend, cobra, or upward facing dog. Either way, we'll meet back in down dog. And once you land in down dog, we'll look forward and bring the feet to the hands so you could walk or take a little hop to get there. From here, roll yourself up to standing. Use a breath in to reach the hands to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart. All right, nice job so far, y'all. Let's do the other side. All right, again, first round, we're just figuring it out. We'll build familiarity as we progress. All right, so let's stand on the left foot, right knee lifts into the body. As the right knee lifts, we will step the right foot back slowly as we reach the right hand down. So right foot and right hand both reaching to the mat. Maybe they even land at the same time. Left hand twist to the sky, revolved side angle. Maybe you look up as well. From here, left elbow curls down, left elbow places on the left knee. Then we drop the left heel down to the mat to open up the hips. We drop the right heel down to the mat to open up the hips. And then we reach the right hand to the sky and we're in side angle pose, left foot forward, right hand to the sky. And then we'll take some big shoulder loops. Almost guaranteed that I'll mess up lefts and rights at least once per class, you know. That's how you know it's a real class. All right, so big shoulder loops here. We're going through big rotations. Again, imagine you're just drawing the biggest circumference that you can, really rotating from your shoulder joint. Feeling the upper arm bone move within the shoulder socket. Feeling the scapula on your upper back. And then feel free to reverse. Straighten your legs, reach your hands back. Left hand to the sky, left side body finds a nice stretch. Keep breathing. Warrior 2, shift forward, left knee finds a nice bend as we open up, and then maybe you take a moment to just rock around, find some movement, some swaying, maybe you even find somewhat of a dance within your Warrior 2. Right? Let it feel good. We're here to feel good. Right? The body wants to feel good. Sometimes, I've never been surfing in my entire life, but sometimes when I'm in Warrior 2, I imagine I'm surfing. Just makes sense. I feel like if I was surfing Warrior 2, like at least I would know Warrior 2 is like a stable place to be, you know. Maybe I'll try it one day. All right, so from here, reverse your warrior again. Reach up and back, take a breath in. As you exhale, cartwheel your hands down to your mat. Step back, plank pose. Downward facing dog. As you step back to downward facing dog, now option to roll into plank and then move through your vinyasa from there. And we'll meet in our downward facing dog when you finish up your movements. There's no rush to get there. But we will eventually be in down dog. And then we can look forward and bring the feet to the hands. We'll find a fold top of the mat. And then we'll roll up to standing. Hands lift to the sky, breathe in. Hands to heart, breathe out. Good. Let's do that whole thing again, all right? The flow will remain the same. We might add on like one thing, but we're going to remain pretty foundational with what we just did, all right? So stand on your right foot, left knee lifts into stork pose. I just found out what a stork is today. I didn't even know it was a type of bird until today. But, you know, every day you learn something new. All right, left foot steps all the way behind you as the left hand reaches down as well. Maybe they land around the same time. Revolve side angle. Right hand twists to the sky. Right elbow curls in, places on the right knee. Left heel drops to the mat. Open the hips. Left hand swings to the sky. Side angle pose is where we land after this transition. All right, from this side angle pose, maybe you find a half bind. Left arm wraps behind your low back towards the right hip crease. Maybe you find a full bind if you want to reach this right arm under you. That's available if you want it. I'm good without it today, but maybe it feels good to you. Take one more breath in. One more breath out. And then let's let this go, and let's reverse our warrior. Reach the right hand up and back. Straighten your legs to let some of that pressure go. From here, warrior two. Shift forward once again. Bend into your right knee. Open out the arms. Let yourself breathe. Maybe this time you're in stillness, or maybe you, if it felt good to move and sway, you could do that again here too. Let's add on one position, Skandasana lunge. So maybe the hands come to the heart, shift the hips to the back of the mat. Skandasana. From your Skandasana lunge, we'll eventually find down dog. So shift forward, hands placed down to the mat near your right foot, and then step the right foot back to down dog. As you get back here, option to just pause if you want, or go through a vinyasa. Rolling to plank, to low plank, to upward facing dog, to downward facing dog. As we get back to down dog, we'll just look forward and feet will come up to hands. However you want to get there, we'll roll ourselves up to standing. We'll inhale, hands up to the sky. And we'll exhale, hands to prayer. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all sticking with me here. Let's stand on the left foot. Right knee lifts into the body, stork pose. Right foot slowly steps behind you as the right hand reaches down to the mat. Find your little balance. Left hand to the sky, revolved side angle to regular side angle. So left elbow down, right heel drops, hips open, right hand swings up to the sky. Open up through the body. Nice little transition. Starts to feel good after a couple rounds, hopefully. From here, we're here for a couple breaths. Option for that half bind, right arm wraps behind you. Option for the full bind with your left arm if you want it. Let's just take one breath in. One breath out. Release and reverse. Straighten out your legs, left hand to the sky. Warrior two. Bend into your left knee, open up. Allow yourself to breathe here. From warrior two, find your Skandasana lunge, hips shift to the back of the mat, bending into your right knee. And then shift forward towards your left foot. Down dog is where we're headed as we step on back. From down dog, option to pause here if you want, or roll forward and take a vinyasa from plank to low plank. Maybe a knees, chest, chin in there. Cobra, up dog, back bend. We'll find our downward facing dog. From down dog, we'll look forward and then feet will journey up to the hands. Forward fold, top of your mat. As you get here, roll yourself up to standing. Use an inhale, reach the hands up. Exhale, hands to prayer. All right, take a few breaths here. All right, we're going to do that same thing one or two more times. All right. But for now, we're going to give ourselves a moment to stand, to grab a sip of water, to take any other little stretches. If you want a quick child's pose, you could. You'll just have to get back up. All right. And I love the opportunity. One of my personal favorite things about going through a yoga asana or a vinyasa class is the novelty of movements, like learning new movements, but then getting to repeat it and use it over time. You know, like really getting to build familiarity with the movements. And then now that we kind of know where we're going, maybe we can build almost like a sense of ritual, right?
going from step to step, right? Just being in tune with the movements. Once we know where we're going, we don't have to think as much, and when we don't have to think as much about where we're going, we can maybe be a little bit more present to what's actually being experienced in the body and the breath. Notice what the mind is doing. Just kind of make it like a moving meditation, if that makes sense. All right, so let's stand on the right foot. This round, nothing will change. Nothing will change. All right, so stand on the right foot, left knee lifts. Take a slow step back, left foot steps back as the left hand reaches down, revolve side angle, right hand to the sky. From here, right elbow curls down, place on the right knee, left heel drops down, side angle as the left hand reaches to the sky. From here, go ahead and reverse your warrior, straighten out your legs, right hand reaches up and back, take a breath in. Exhale, warrior two. Pause in warrior two for a full inhale. Full exhale. Skandasana lunge, shift the hips behind you. And then rock forward, down dog, hands to the mat, right foot steps behind you. From down dog, go ahead and look forward and bring your feet up to your hands. You could walk, you could take a little hop if you want. We'll skip the vinyasa there so that we could just roll up to standing and go into the next round. So when you're ready, the left foot will be on the ground. The right knee will lift into the body. Right foot slowly steps back as the right hand moves down to the mat. Revolved side angle, left hand reaches to the sky. From here, left elbow curls down to the left knee, right heel drops, open the hips, right hand to the sky, side angle is where we're at. From side angle, reverse out of it. Straighten out your legs, left hand to the sky, take a breath in. Exhale, warrior two. Open yourself up. From warrior two, we'll find our Skandasana lunge, hips shift behind you. And then rock forward, hands up to the mat around your left foot, step back, down dog. From down dog, look forward, bring your feet to the hands, whether you walk or take a little step or hop. Roll up to standing. Take a breath or so, and we'll do that whole thing again, one more time. Exactly the same. All right. Feeling the energy lift, right? Maybe you feel a little warmth. Maybe you feel the heart beating slightly faster, right? That's okay. We're increasing the pace, so that's natural. All right, so left knee lifts into the body. Left foot steps back as the left hand reaches down, revolved side angle. Maybe you look up and then transition side angle. Open yourself up, same transition. Reverse your warrior, straighten out your legs. Warrior two, release down. Skandasana lunge, shift the hips back, bend into your left knee. Downward facing dog. In fact, three-legged dog. Let's reach the right foot up and back behind us to the sky for three-legged dog. And then from here, step the right foot forward and then just walk to the top of your mat. All right, so just walk yourself into a forward fold, just adding a little bit of flavor to that transition. And then rolling yourself up to standing and getting ready for the next side. All right, so left foot to the mat, right knee into the body. Right foot steps back as the right hand reaches to the mat, revolved side angle. From revolved side angle, we transition to side angle. So open yourself up, transition's the same. Reverse your warrior, straighten out your legs, lift up and back. Warrior two position, open up. Skandasana lunge, shift the hips back. Rock it forward, three-legged dog, so hands plant near your left foot, then left foot reaches and threads to the sky behind you, and then step the left foot like halfway up, and then just continue to walk forward into a forward fold. All right, roll yourself up to standing. All right, let's do one more round exactly the same because, you know, I feel like we've really established these movements now, and so this last round, let's just have fun. It's not a very lengthy flow either, right? It's a pretty quick forward and back once we have the steps down. So last round here. All right, so right foot is down, left knee lifts. Left foot steps back, left hand moves down, revolved side angle, right hand to the sky. Side angle pose, open yourself up. Reverse your warrior, straighten out your legs. Warrior two, I hope you're continuing to breathe here, right? I'm not cueing the breath because I don't think there's a correct way to breathe here, but I want you to keep breathing and being aware of it and hopefully breathing fully. Rock back into Skandasana lunge.
Three-legged dog. So rock forward, hands plant around your right foot threads up to the sky for three-legged dog. And then right foot steps somewhere to the middle of the mat so that you could just keep walking forward into a forward fold position, top of the mat. And then roll yourself up to standing. And then we'll do the last one. There's no extra round after this, I promise. All right, so right knee lifts, and then right foot steps back as the right hand reaches down. Revolved side angle. Left hand to the sky, look up, and then transition side angle. Open up to the opposite side of your mat. Reverse your warrior, straighten your legs, left hand to the sky. Warrior 2 position, open out. Skandasana lunge, rock the hips back. Three-legged dog, so hands move to your left foot, left leg lifts up to the sky, and then left foot steps forward, followed by the right foot, followed by left, etc., until you're in a forward fold. And then roll yourself up to standing, and then pause here. Goodness, wow. Look at all that we just did, huh? How about that? All right, amazing job, everybody. From here, let's just go ahead and sit down. All right, let's sit onto the mat. And then let's go ahead and lay down onto our belly. All right, so we're headed is onto the belly. All right, as we lay down onto the belly, let's find a Sphinx pose. So forearms come to the mat. Alternative to Sphinx pose is simply laying flat on your belly, right, and using your forearms as a pillow if you'd rather just lay on your belly. All right, that's a good option too. Otherwise, Sphinx pose is nice. Let your elbows be in a 90-degree or greater angle. So if you want, you can even go further forward with your elbows. And then feet may become a little wider out behind you. Give yourself a nice wide foundation for your pelvis and low back. And just breathe, right? That was a fair amount of movement. Just breathe here. There's nothing you have to do, but if you want to sway side to side, or one thing that might feel nice is to find stretches through your neck, right? So nobody knows your neck like you do, so maybe you just roll around and try to work into the back of the neck or the left and right sides of your neck, just some gentle rotations. We'll have a few more breaths here. If you want, you can close your eyes, imagining the hips pretty heavy into the earth. And then let's release onto the belly. All right, so you could rest either your forehead or just one of your ears down. Let this be quite passive, right? Just laying on the belly. Breathing really big though, so really feeling as though you're breathing into the earth. When you're ready, flip yourself on over. You can just roll over, flip over like a pancake, or stop, drop, and roll style, however you want to think of it. And we're laying down onto our back. All right, as we lay down, let's do one more bridge pose, which will be the last active thing we do in the class. So feet are onto the mat, and we'll rise up into bridge. And we're not going to hold this bridge for too long. Again, I just want you to be aware of the descent, once again, just like the beginning of class, right? So whenever you're ready, start to roll down, starting with the upper back. Again, maybe you have to kind of find that tuck of the tailbone, find that posterior pelvic tilt. Roll the mid back down, the low back, eventually the hips land. All right, once the hips land, let's bring our feet together and open up the knees out wide for Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle pose. Hands can rest onto your pointy hip bones if you want grounding, or if you want more of a shoulder stretch, reach the arms overhead with your elbows bent. Maybe the eyes closed. Take about 3 breaths here.
From here, feet come back onto the mat, and then feet come wide. Feet might come even mat's width distance apart. So then we can knock the knees together in towards the middle of the mat. So knees are still bent, feet are still on the ground, but feet are wide and knees knocked together into the middle. From here, find some nice length in the spine. Allow yourself to breathe. You can just stay here, or if you want, you can dip one knee in, then the other, or find some kind of rotation, some kind of windshield wipers through your hips. Let this be a pretty mellow place to be. And then we'll go ahead and just release right into our Shavasana. So feel free to extend the legs long, all right? Or you could also come into any physical position that feels completely restful and rejuvenating and supportive to where you are currently at in this moment. Right? Allow this to be a place of ease where rest can be prioritized, where you simply can allow yourself to exist without asking anything else of yourself. There's nowhere else to be, there's nothing else to be doing. As you land in your resting position, we'll have a few minutes here. Best intentions to have a compassionate mind, to just watch the thoughts without attachment as they come and go, letting the breath flow in and out. Most importantly, letting the physical body rest in stillness. Shavasana. And as you feel ready, let's just take a deep breath in. And take a smooth breath all the way out. One more like that. Take a deep breath in. Take a smooth breath all the way out. Start to come back into the body. Find any movements or wiggles or stretches that are feeling good to you. If you want to roll onto one side, you can. If you want to bend your knees or switch positions in some way, you can. And there's no rush here, but eventually when you're ready, you can come out of your Shavasana and come into a seated position. As you come into your seated position, perhaps you bring the palms to rest in front of your heart into a prayer position. Maybe the eyelids close. May we have compassion for ourselves, for exactly where we are in our journeys in this moment. May we have some gratitude for the communities, the relationships in our lives, including that of ours with ourselves. May we have some reverence toward the practice of yoga for giving us this opportunity, this practice that we can use to find connection to ourselves and to the world around us. And we'll take a gentle bow forward. All right. Much love, my friends. I appreciate y'all joining.